One of the hardest parts about being a creator is having to do everything yourself. Selling things, writing newsletters, navigating the constant changes on social media. It is not easy, and it can leave you with little time to focus on branding the very business you're working to create. But you don't have to do it alone. DiffWorks specializes in a range of creative solutions, including commercial services like audio and video production, photography, and a full suite of design services like logo and brand development, website design, marketing assets, social media content, and much more. So let DiffWorks be your creative ally in taking your business to the next level. Book a consultation today at staydiff.com. I'm Kahja Elliott, and I'm a food enthusiast. Bronx born and raised, ATL made, Bay Area becoming. And I talk to people about how they create community through food in the Bay and beyond. Welcome to the As Told By podcast. All right, y'all. Welcome to a bonus episode of the As Told By podcast. I know it is not time for an episode, but I want y'all to have something special, and I definitely have something special today. I'm here in Oakland. I'm sitting in a bakery that you all know and love with Greg Williams of Gregory's Gourmet Desserts of Oakland. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Yes. Welcome to the As Told By podcast.
I'm excited.
Yes. Now, I'm a big fan of what you do. I'm definitely a regular customer of what you sell. And I'm so glad to be able to sit down and learn a little bit more about you.
It's my pleasure. I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Okay. Look, let's get started.
Okay.
So we're in Oakland, but I read that you are originally from Brooklyn and that you actually are of Panamanian descent.
Yeah. I'm first generation born in the States. The sad part about that is that when I was born, my mom and dad didn't speak Spanish to me. It was very important for us to learn English, and so I so regret that. I know that my mom probably regrets it now. They used to keep secrets from us, so it's like. It wasn't that bad of a secret.
They used to speak over you.
Exactly. Yeah.
What part of Brooklyn were you living in before you came here?
I lived in Farragut Housing near the Naval Shipyard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was the projects, but it was home.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the best. It was clean. It was like all the kids that you wanted to play with. We had, those were the 14-story projects.
Uh-huh.
And so we would have games against the other project building. The guys would, it was so much fun.
You know how it goes. I know how it goes as well. I'm from the Bronx. I spent time living in St. Mary's Projects, right off Jackson Avenue in the Bronx. It was a 21-floor building.
Okay.
And you know how it is, like when the elevators go out in the projects, and it's a whole different lifestyle.
Yeah. I remember that going Halloween when it used to, you just stayed in the building.
Mm-hmm.
It broke out all the lights, and you just, it was scary.
Yes. This forms you, formative beginnings.
Exactly.
Yes. So, growing up in Brooklyn, you then are here in California. How did your family end up in the Bay?
My mom was getting ill, and the doctors were saying she needed to go to a warmer climate, and her boss that she was working for was saying, before you go, she was going to move to Atlanta, and she said, before you go to Atlanta, you should check out LA or San Francisco. You might like it there.
Mm-hmm.
And so she tried San Francisco first, and so she came out here, lived at the YWCA for a few weeks, found a place, and then sent for my sister myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Listen, that's a life lesson. Try it. You might like it.
Exactly. I'm glad she chose it. I'm glad she chose San Francisco.
Yeah. What was growing up in the city like for you?
It wasn't Brooklyn. I came out here in the 70s. So when I first got here, all those black exploitation movies, I dressed like that. I came to school in a blue velvet maxi coat with a white turtleneck with some platform shoes. And they were looking at me like I was crazy. It was like, nah, this is the style back in Brooklyn. Yeah, there's a little back being in San Francisco. It was like I thought I was the coolest thing since sliced bread.
You pulled up like the number one stunner. They were not ready for you.
Yeah, I quickly had to get rid of that stuff slowly.
Get with the program. With entrepreneurship being so visible now, did you have examples of that as you were growing up? Particularly Black entrepreneurship being so visible now. As you were growing up in San Francisco, what was your visibility to that?
I think I missed a lot of that because when I got here in like 73, 74, a lot of the businesses in the Fillmore, which were predominantly Black, were closing down. The gentrification had just begun. So there wasn't many things that I actually saw. There was a couple stores, barbershops, but as far as anything else, I didn't see anything else. Yeah.
Okay. So not like I came from a family of entrepreneurs or, I lived over the store where Mr. So-and-so ran the so-and-so.
No.
Okay.
No, it wasn't like that at all. I'm trying to, since time has gone on, I've learned a couple of things about my family. I have family like in St. Vincent on my father's side that owned department stores. And I have some other family members that I found out that were in business. And actually, my dad in Panama owned his own bus
Okay.
Like a local bus that would tour. And so I guess I got part of that from him.
Yeah. But it wasn't anything like you were living in your day-to-day.
No.
Okay. I read that you had many, like I call them mini careers, right, en route to doing this. But I think the one that to me was, there just was so many things about it to unpack, was when you were managing in an apartment building, because it became like the impetus for kind of what you are doing now. It was the beginning. So talk a little bit about what happened during that process.
I call. It's like I have to go into my Jamaican voice. It's like I had like 20 jobs, man. And
you was a Headley.
So even before that apartment, becoming an apartment manager, I had a whole bunch of jobs before that. It just so happened that when I started baking, I was baking out of my mom's kitchen in rent subsidized housing when I first I'm going to do this, and just going to the neighbor next door, you got to try this, and they going, man, this is good, make me one. And so I was doing that for a few years before I started and doing a whole bunch of jobs. I was working for Avis and Crowley Maritime on a tugboat, working for Qantas Airlines. It's like I was doing so many different things. So baking was just like a hobby.
Okay.
It was just a hobby.
Okay.
Yeah, and just to satisfy a sweet tooth.
And then, you find yourself, look, I'm in this position all the time with a certain store. I won't call them out, but you find something you like, and then they stop carrying it. And then you're like, well, how am I supposed to get what I want? And you decided, well, I'm just going to try to make it myself.
Now, I don't mind telling the store that I used to, the bakery, it was Le Petit Boulangerie back in the day. And they were franchised. And I didn't know anything about outsourcing. So they weren't actually making the cheesecake. They were just getting it from this cheesecake company. So I would buy it every day after work, a slice. And it was like, made my day. And then one day they stopped making it. And then I started going to the next Le Petit Boulangerie, looking for it. Oh, they have a couple slices left until there was no more. I told my best friend, Dion, about this story. I said, I'm not making my cheesecakes anymore. It's like, what am I going to do? And she said, make it yourself.
Hey.
She said, make it yourself. And she bought me a cookbook. in a springform pan,
Mm-hmm.
and I taught myself how to make that cheesecake.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this is what year is this that you are starting to do that?
19, wow, I'm telling on myself, 1987,
Okay.
1986.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, about 1986. And doing a couple of other jobs. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Now, I thought it was so funny. I read that, in that job you were doing, working in the apartment building, you kind of were leveraging the fact that these apartments had ovens. Like, I could kind of get in here and use this space since I'm here anyway.
Yeah.
Which is a very Brooklyn thing to do, I want to tell
Oh,
you.
you gotta hustle. You gotta have
Hey.
you gotta have your hustle on. But it was my first big order, and I'm like, okay, the hotel that took the order
Mm-hmm.
thought I was baking at a commercial kitchen. It was like, I got this one little stove. I should have taken. I don't have pictures of it, but I knew that there were a couple of apartments for rent.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just run up and down the stairs with pans and
Make it happen,
and
Captain.
make it happen. Yeah, yeah.
But that's key,
Part of the history.
key and part of the history. You have to leverage where you are to get where you're going, even if you don't yet know that that's where you're about to go.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
Getting into this field, it was kind of interesting because I have stories before that. Even because I didn't bake, I didn't come from a baking background or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was working for the company that I was, Crowley, doing some stuff, I doodled a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And 6 months before I started baking, I did this doodle. And I showed my colleague, and I said, "Would this be a cool name for a bakery?" And it was called Color Me Fat, and it was like a little plump guy sitting on the words "Color Me Fat,"
Mm-hmm.
and it had a smile, and it was like, and I said, "Yeah, that's kind of cute." He said it's a little derogatory, and it's like, I think this is so cute though, and it's like I kept the doodle,
Mm-hmm.
and this was like 6 months before I even started baking, and I kept the file. I have a doodle book, so I kept it. 6 months later, find myself baking, and I'm going, I have this doodle. I'm gonna call it that, and it started off as color me fat, and then they talked me into it's like this too derogatory. Then I turned it into color me plump cheesecakes. Yeah, that's how it started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look, I'm thinking now, if this bakery was called Color Me Fat, would I be walking up here, loud and proud? I probably still would, but
you would like the logo.
Exactly.
You would have loved the logos. It's different.
I'm sure it was great. So, getting a large scale order from a hotel, and that kind of being the beginning of starting to do this on a larger scale as a business. But it does bring up the question, or just the topic of scaling, because now you have POs and, you're a supplier in partnership with people. And I'm sure that baking, first of all, I love to bake. I'm a home baker.
Okay.
But, baking 5 cakes and baking 50 cakes, two different things.
Mm-hmm.
Baking 10 dozen cookies and baking, 60 dozen cookies, very different things. So how did you approach being able to meet the demands of the business where there's a lot of upfront costs? You got to have all the ingredients, you need ovens, you need mixers, you need all these things.
It didn't the initial start wasn't like that. It was mainly
That's them calling you?
Is it?
Yeah, y'all. This is a business. They calling them. They want to talk to him.
It didn't start off like that. It was mainly friends and family, and then the companies that I worked for, the salespeople started saying, "Greg, can you make a cheesecake for me? I'm going out on this sales call, and I want to give them a cheesecake." And so that started happening. And I would brag about it on one of my jobs,
Mm.
delivery. I would deliver packages, and you make cheesecakes? Can you make, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I make cheesecakes. That's how I started. I would take cheesecakes on my route, drop them off.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the hustle, so I did a lot of that
Okay.
before I even got started. But when I started working for a hotel, the manager of that hotel, the department that I was working with, he had the cheesecake. He said, if I ever open a restaurant, I'm putting your cheesecakes in there.
Mm.
And I'm like, okay, cool. I really appreciate it. And he opened a major restaurant in Burlingame, and my cheesecakes were the first desserts
Wow.
in this restaurant. And it happened again. The new manager for the hotel, he said, if I ever open up a restaurant, I'm putting you in there. He opens up a major restaurant, and I'm making cheesecakes for these guys. And it's like, this is crazy.
Like, this is
cool.
This is a business with a capital B.
Yeah. So and that's basically how I started. And then I started walking in cold into hotels, into the kitchens. I had dreads, and I'm dropping off these cheesecakes. They look at me and say, "You delivering this for somebody?" I said, "No, this is my cheesecake. So I want you to try this."
Mm-hmm.
And they would try it right in front of me and said, "You made this?" I said, "Yeah."
Mm.
He said, "Give me your information."
Leave your number.
Yeah, and they ended up calling me for banquets, and so that's how it got started. It went from Marriott's, Park 55s.
Oh, you're in the big hotels.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is happening."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you go from hotels now to this location where we know you to be in Oakland?
Can I tell you? This is a little backstory.
Okay.
Around 1991, 92. I can't even remember the year. Way before I started baking.
Mm-hmm.
No, 88. Just got my degree in marketing from Sonoma State.
Okay.
Going for an interview in Oakland. Caught Bart over here because I didn't come to Oakland that much.
Mm-hmm.
I'm walking down Grand Avenue, down this, across the street, around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
And I stopped. And it's like, why does this building look familiar to me?
Building.
This particular building.
Okay.
Stopped in front of the building, just like, I've been here before. Went to the interview like 6 blocks away, walked back down to get back, on Bart, stopped and looked around the building again. Thought nothing of it. Came back a year and a half later with my then girlfriend. We were going to a festival at the lake.
Mm-hmm.
I found a parking spot right around here, and I'm looking at the building. It's like, I've been here before.
Wow.
I've been here before. And so, go to the festival, leave. Now I'm managing an apartment building. The owners of the building says, "Greg, we want you to come and take a look at something. We know that you're baking and you're baking in your apartment and all the other apartments." They give me the address. And I drive up. It's this building. And I go, he said, "We know that you're baking. This where we are right now is totally gutted." It's like, we would like you to, if you want, you can have this. And if you help us manage the building. And I'm like, and you guys can help me build. They helped me build it out.
Wow.
And I said, it was like almost preordained for me. It's like, I've been here before.
Mm-hmm.
And so I always tell people that story. It's like, I didn't know that I was going to be baking then, but that's why the building has become such a part of who I am. So
Meant to be.
Meant to be.
Meant to be.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something.
It's huge. It's huge. It's
Yes.
like it's God ordained. And so when I look at it like that, um, it helped me for a long time learning how to go with the waves because I was doing really well. My accounts in the hotel industry was picking up, and 9/11 hit. That I lost all the accounts. So it went from like awesome to like nothing.
Okay.
And so that's how then I started doing. I got to get some income in here, and I opened up one day a week, created Cookie Wednesday.
Okay.
I created Cookie Wednesday just so I can have some cash flow.
Yeah.
And sold cookies until I sold out. I would open at 11 and sell out by like 1:30. One time I sold out in 45 minutes, and I was like so excited. It's like, Cookie Wednesday, that's it. Cookie Wednesday. That's what I was known for a bit. Yeah. And then Wednesday turned into Wednesday and Thursday. Then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah. So now I'm working open 6 days a week.
Wow. And making way more than cookies.
Making way more than cookies.
Yeah. So for people listening, we have like listenership outside of the Bay Area. So tell people just kind of high level, what all do you make here?
So started off with cheesecakes. I make over probably like 25 to 30 different flavored cheesecakes. Sweet potato pies, pecan pies, croissant sandwiches, cakes, German chocolate, red velvet, cupcakes, hummingbird cakes, and it's what I love. When I have a feeling to make something, I'll just make it. I'll season when it was just like I'm making some New Orleans style bread pudding. But that's the thing. It's like when I'm done with it, it's like it doesn't stay. It's like, when are you bringing the bread pudding back? And I'm going, I don't know. It's like, so you got to catch me on those mad scientist days, or else you'll lose it. But it's pretty cool. But cookies, I made 17 different style cookies, pies, from key lime pie, coconut, chocolate. Yeah.
Yeah. That chocolate cream pie is amazing, y'all.
It's dangerous.
It is. That's it. So you're making all these things. You're here in this building. Cookie Wednesday now turns into 6 days a week. But I think the thing, that kind of has happened most recently is Rob Martinez comes by here. And for those of y'all who don't know, Rob Martinez is a content creator, but, more along the line, he has a background in producing and films and directing. So he produces these video shorts that are very simple, but very sincere. It's not overproduced. It's not a whole bunch of questions or an in-depth conversation like we're doing here today, but he can very quickly get in and capture the heart of a business. So he comes here, he does this all around the world, and he comes here to talk to you, and it sets off what I'm going to call a press explosion. How did he end up coming here to you? What was that process?
First of all, I didn't know who Rob Martinez was.
Okay.
So he came and said, hello, my name is Rob Martinez. I would like to interview you. And this particular day that he came, I was getting ready to go to a wedding in Los Angeles. So I was hustling, trying to get things ordered. I said, I don't have time. I got to do some things and get ready to go out of town. He said, it'll only take a few minutes, and it's like, did you try, I don't know, did you try any of the other people around here? There's some other brothers, restaurants down the street that you might want to talk to. He said, no, I want to interview you. And I said, okay. And I had stuff and taking stuff out. He said, do you need any help taking stuff out? I said, no, that's okay. Can you give me a few hours? I have to do some things. And he said, okay, I'll wait a few hours. So I thought, okay, he's going to find somebody else and he's not going to come back. So I get back here at about 9 o'clock.
You're waiting on you.
I'm walking down the stairs, and the guy, my guy in the front, that's like Joe's going, he's here. I said, he's here? And I said, I got to give this guy this interview. And I didn't know. It's like, and I'm going, so you do these interviews? What happens? It's like, he said, yeah, it'll do well. Don't worry about it. Mm-hmm. It'll do well. And
8 million views. I looked this morning.
Really? It's almost 15 on, which one did you look at?
I looked at YouTube.
TikTok, it's like almost like between the two is like 4 million, 4.5 million on that. So it's like up 14 million.
Can you believe it?
I'm telling you, this stuff was like ordained. It's like, even though I was trying to push it away, it still came. It's nothing that I did. It's just like the gift that God has given me. Staying in my lane. As long as I stay in my lane, God's in control. He's truly, truly in control. Yeah. So once I put my foot in it, like trying to, oh yeah, this is all me, blah blah blah. It's like it was downhill. So, but I just, I stay in my lane, do the things that I do best, and just watch it work. Yeah. And that doesn't mean, I'm not like, okay, God, let this happen. I still have to hustle.
Still do your part.
I'm still doing 14, 16, 18-hour days.
That's a lot now.
Yeah, it is. It was a detriment to my first marriage, I think. Being married to the business, it takes a lot out, but I did learn from that. And all at the same time, being married and being an entrepreneur, it helps so much being married.
Really?
It keeps you focused. I mean, your mind doesn't wander. It's like I get to go home and just, my significant is there. Okay. Yeah, and so it's just like, okay, I'm going home now. I don't have to think about anything else. Yeah. So, that first marriage didn't work out. I just got married 2 years ago, and she's a helpmate. It's unbelievable. It's an ease that makes my life a little bit easier. Yeah. It's really, really cool.
You got to be in the marriage that's best suited for where you are in your life at the time.
Exactly. And she was an entrepreneur too, so she knows the schedule. She knows what it takes. So it's not like a burden to her. She's like, I know, I understand. Yeah. I'll help you here, blah, blah, blah. It's good. It's really good.
I'm so glad this came up because my thought, as I was telling you earlier, this is not my day job. So I'm, over here in day job land, but then I'm over here trying to build this full-time career in food media, and I'm single. And sometimes I'm like, thank goodness, because this takes up a lot of my time.
A lot.
And so it's like, is it better to be entrepreneuring when you're single and you have all the time and ability to focus, or is it better, like you said, when you're married to the right kind of person for where you are, and they can come in and complement what you have going on?
I totally agree. For just everything out there being a distraction. I think if, like, for example, when I first started much younger, I would rather go out on a date. And it's like, I'll bake when I get back home. Okay. Instead of concentrating, it's like, let me go do some marketing research and find out if I can get into a building sooner. Or it's a distraction.
Okay. I got you. So I'm getting these pans in this oven.
Yeah, exactly. Kept me out of trouble, all of that stuff. So it's really cool.
Cool. Yeah. So now you go viral. Rob comes. It would be easy for me to say, well, we already knew, which we did. We already knew you were here, but it goes out, and I'm sure people from all over the Bay, and I see influencers are traveling here from other places. People are coming in here like it's going out of style, and we've heard that referred to as like overnight success. There's a bakery. She does a lot of conversation about this on Instagram. Blondery is the name of the bakery. And she talked about going viral versus going sustainable after she had her own instance of like being on the Gayle King show and interview and in magazines. Yeah. And you get this big influx of business, which can cause you to have to make a big investment in order to meet all that demand. But then if that starts to fall off, how it's not sustainable. So I know that you talked about in your conversation with Rob the long game. You talked about staying humble in the process, and you talked about the fact that this wasn't an overnight success. How long was it in doing this before you finally felt secure in saying, okay, this got enough traction where I'm going to be here for the long haul?
Wow. I was always in it for the long haul. There was times where I wanted to just drop out. I was like, I'm still healthy. I can do. I was going into probably the police department. I was trying out for fire. I was a volunteer firefighter for a season.
Okay.
So I was doing all of these things that I thought that I would get into that would be actually pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the business would become a side business. Like, I'll be a firefighter, only work 9 days, 9 days a month, and I'll bake. But my attention was supposed to be here and only here. And so when I burnt the bridge to just do this, it was a struggle, but I had to do it. Work that. By the time I finish this interview with you, you will probably hear of like 15 of the jobs that I worked at. So I worked at 24-hour fitness from 10 at night to 6 in the morning.
Okay.
And then would come here and bake from 6 to 3 or 4. Go home and sleep for 3 hours and do it all over again.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was just part of it. And so the other side of the bakery was empty. I had a cot. I had a cot that I would sleep on the cot to rest. And my boys back then, I was like, man, nobody's buying my stuff. It's like nobody's coming in. It's like I don't know what's happening, because you think that you're going to become an overnight sensation, but I wasn't supposed to be an overnight sensation because there were so many things that I had to learn about me that I could look back and go, yeah, I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready for Rob Martinez or anybody. Mm-hmm. I'm at this place right now. It's like I've been doing this for, April made 25 years here.
Wow.
And I'm just starting to rest.
Yeah.
And it feels good.
I'm glad to hear you say that. I'm learning so much through doing this about the journey of people who venture out to start their business. And it's just not easy.
It isn't.
Especially when you are making a physical product. It's just not easy, and it takes a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes a lot. Lots of good friends that came and talked to me. Just sat here and just talked to me, just keeping me company, because it was just me in here by myself, baking. And not to say that, in the beginning, my first, very supportive, but it still took its toll. But that person that was just sitting here for hours just keeping me company was just like, man, thanks.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
Thank you, man. Need that.
Yeah.
Nothing happens without community. That's
exactly.
What's up. I told you I bake at home, and one of the things I love about it is there for me is such a peace, right? In being able to take all these little raw ingredients and like kind of move something from A to Z, and then you have this finished process. And I was talking recently to the woman who does my hair, and she said it's kind of like you get into a meditative space with it. She said it's the same thing for me when I'm braiding hair. It's like a meditative space. Is it like that for you when you're baking?
No.
Okay.
Because again, it wasn't my dream job. Is work.
Okay.
The part that excites me more than anything is coming up with that finished product that I love. It's like, this is it, and getting that first person to try it. So when I started making cheesecakes, I was like, because I didn't like cheesecakes growing
No?
up, especially in New York. I didn't like the New York style cheesecake.
No juniors.
It's too dense.
It is dense.
And so I didn't like it. The first time I had it, it was like, this is terrible.
Okay.
But I had a cheesecake out here. Had the cheesecake out here. This is awesome.
Mm.
So when I got into it, it's like, that's going to be my market, the people that say they hate cheesecakes.
Mm.
So I made this cheesecake. It's a cross between the East Coast, West Coast, a little bit softer.
Yeah.
My excitement is when you get to taste that first bite. Because I wanted to hit, like when I tasted it, it's like, isn't that awesome? That's why I got the T-shirt out there that says "I got spooned by Gregory," because that's my excitement. When I come up with something new, it's like, oh, you got to try this. Oh, this is unbelievable. That part is exciting for me.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like it's not meditative. It's just other than that, it's just I'm just working.
Yeah. Oh. He's like, no, this is work. But everything coming out of here is so good. I've never had any bad thing out of here.
I appreciate
and I've had
that.
plenty. I've had plenty. The building we talked about, the outside of it. I want to say 2020. This mural that is adorned on this building with some of the greats in Black baking. So people we know, like in conjunction with products that are like home names, Wally Amos, like Famous Amos Cookies, and Carla Hall. But also you have nods to
Jennings.
People in Black foodways who served in presidential administrations,
Exactly.
James Hemings and Zephyr Wright.
Yeah, exactly.
How did you decide who was going on the wall?
I just thought about, I wanted to do history.
Mm-hmm.
Again, from we got to work
Mm-hmm.
to where it became, oh, I'm going to be an entrepreneur with this, to Famous Amos,
Mm-hmm.
to Carla Hall being who she is and can bake, and her personality, and from working to using your personality and still come up with these awesome things and just be yourself today.
Yeah.
I'm following that in this 25 years. It's like work. Now people will say it's like I'm selling myself now, as far as just Greg,
Right.
my personality.
You're the brand.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But keeping the product the same. I get to be myself, joking around. I love meeting new people.
Mm-hmm.
That part is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's how I came up. I love Famous Amos.
Me too.
I love
Rest in
Famous.
peace,
Yeah,
Wally Amos. But those cookies was bomb.
Yeah, they were awesome. And then I remembered this one show on Taxi. He was on Taxi. Remember Taxi
Yes,
back in the day?
I do remember Taxi.
He was on Taxi, and he was like, Latka was like, oh, Famous Amos. And he had his cookie in his hand. He went up into they like had him on a harness or something. He just floated away like he was on the dream. It's like, he made it with his cookies to the, television, and he's doing his thing. It's like, it's sad how it ended. He sold his name and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
All of that's, but it's a lesson to everybody else.
Yes.
It's a lesson to everybody else. But during his prime, he was knocking it out the box. I was like, man, this guy is doing his thing.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it.
Mm-hmm. I
loved
remember
it.
my mom would bring those home. This was like back in the mid 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a treat. We get a box of Famous Amos in the house. It was on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I hope I have that same type of. I have parents that were pregnant, coming here while they were pregnant, and bringing their kids back when they were like 5 years old. This is where I brought you when I'm seeing kids like 15, 16 that have been coming here, and it trips me out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Generations.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
My daughter lives in Atlanta now, but she lived out here with me for a period of time. She's going to be coming to visit at the end of the month. And I promise you, she texted me, make sure there's a Fat Boy in the refrigerator when I get there. So she already put in her Gregory order. And I was like, okay, girl, I got you. It's hilarious. So yeah, the people are
That's
looking
cool.
for you. Yeah. You're here on this corner of Oakland where there's lots of other food businesses. We got Calabash across the street, Alamar on the other side of the street. I think this is True
Total.
Burger around here.
Yeah.
You're surrounded, and running a food business in this evolving landscape of Oakland has been tricky these last few years.
Mm-hmm.
But because this is, in the style of you just come in, you kind of get what you get and you leave. This isn't a sit down spot. Do you feel like that impacted you during the pandemic when people were having to very quickly pivot into what you had already been doing? Or were you like, it just so happened the pendulum swung my way?
So you remember the story, 86. I've been here before.
Mm-hmm.
If it's God ordained, he knew exactly what was going to happen and the things that were going to come to pass.
Mm-hmm.
So during the pandemic, when I first moved here, I was like, I don't want to be in the basement. Why do I have to be in the basement? I don't want to be in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
Now it has become somewhat of a novelty.
Yes.
It has a Brooklyn appeal.
Yes.
Now before, there were none of these buildings around here.
Mm-hmm.
It was just empty. It was just parking lots on all three sides.
Okay.
None of these buildings were here. So he put me in a position in a basement where he goes, just stay there. Now I was offered other locations and I didn't take them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just staying in place. So when COVID hits, it's perfect. One person at a time coming in, 2 people at max.
Mm-hmm.
All of the BLM boycotts were 2 blocks away.
Okay.
I didn't get touched at all.
Mm.
And so he kept me covered, Eagles.
Yes.
He kept me covered during that time. And I see it now. It's like, that's why you have me here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, no matter what it looked like, he's brought people here. It's, you tell me 25 years ago, where would I have wanted to be?
Mm-hmm.
Jack London Square, Union Street in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
I would have chosen those places. You go to those places now.
Things are closing.
He has me exactly where I'm supposed
Yes.
to be.
Yes. And I love that you said it kind of gives you that feel in New York. I was just in New York a couple of weeks ago and I had forgotten about, those 2 metal flaps that open on the ground.
Yeah.
And then there's the staircase going down. And I'm like, I forgot that this is how everybody restocks their inventory.
Exactly.
And all the things. So yeah, you kind of were set up in the model before the model was the necessary model.
He knows everything.
Hey. Go with it. Go with God. Go with God. Yes.
He knows everything.
Rob Martinez referenced thinking that you are a legend, right? That he thinks that you are a legend. And he defined a legend as somebody who has a passion for something and a vision and sticks with it for years and years. And I think all of us in Oakland would agree that you have been that all along. And now 8 million people, 14 if we count the other people, know that too.
It's amazing. I got people calling me from France, texting me from France that saw the story. London, parts of Russia. That's just like, we love your story. We love your story. And it's like, man, I just said what happened. And I didn't think it was a big deal. It was like, okay. I said, after it was over, I said, how do you think it's going to do? He said, you'll do well.
Wow.
He said, you'll do well. And then he called me the first day that it went out. And he said, it's almost at 1 million. I'm like, what? What? Totally. And this is the thing. I was watching everybody else around me use social media and do gimmicks. Not gimmicks, but put their thing out there. Mm-hmm. And I was doing little things. And I was like, man, I wish I could do like that. I wish I could do... But again, just staying in my lane, because I like doing some of that stuff, putting pictures in my little my sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
And he just comes along and just like, let me do this. And now I'm like, I called him back. I called him the next. I said, Rob, thank you. I really appreciate you staying.
Thank you for spinning the block and coming back at 9 p.m.
Okay. Yeah.
Love that. Well, thank you so much for talking with me today. I'm going to wrap us up with 5 fun baker questions. But before I do that, I want to give a shout out to Ansel Troy. He's on Instagram as Tiny Oakland. He builds the most amazing tiny homes in East Oakland. But he said to me, you need to go interview Gregory. You need to go interview him. And I said, well, he's getting a lot of press. Rob Martinez has been through his, millions of people. There's influencers. I'm like, I think, maybe people have, gotten the information that they want to have. And he said, well, we've heard that, but we don't really know anything about his story. I think you should still reach out to him and see if you can interview him. So shout out to you, Ansel. I owe you a piece of cheesecake because without you saying, I think you need to go get on that, I would not have done this. So thank you so much for that.
Wow, I got to meet him.
Thank him too. You got to thank him. He's good people.
Okay.
All right, so let me hit these 5 questions with you.
All right.
Okay, ready. Number 1, what's your favorite comfort dessert?
Right now, it's the chocolate pecan pie.
Oh, that's good. You do that at the holidays, too.
I do it all year round now because I love it that much.
Okay.
And it's not fully chocolate. It's just you get these couple bites of chocolate. Mm-hmm. It'll knock your socks off.
Okay. I got to double back for that, y'all. Okay. Do you bake to music? And if so, what kind?
Wow. I might play One Nation Under the Groove one day.
Hey.
And then like right now what's in the loop right now is Mystic Voyage by Roy Ayers.
Okay.
And so it can be anything and I'll just loop it. It's like
it's soul in the cheesecake,
exactly.
y'all.
So it varies.
Okay.
It varies, yeah.
Okay. But you are in here moving and grooving as you're baking.
Mm-hmm.
Good for you. Good for you. All right. Vodka in the pie crust. Have you ever tried it?
No.
I haven't either.
Yeah. I'm not much of a drinker.
Okay.
So and what I have tasted of vodka, it doesn't excite me.
Okay. I hear it cooks off and it's supposed to make your crust really flaky, but I haven't tried it.
Now you're going to have me try it.
Okay. If I try first, I'll let you know how it went for me. Okay. Is a water bath really necessary for cheesecake?
No.
No.
No, I don't use a water bath when I'm making my cheesecakes.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, self-taught. I just wanted to make the cheesecake. I thought it was so unnecessary to, you got to use the springform pan, bake, put it in the bath. And it's like, I just started off baking them. Okay. Yeah.
Unnecessary.
To me.
For you.
I've had other people come, asking me the same question. It's like, maybe one day I might try it. Not. Yeah, I'm too far off in the game now. It's like, hopefully the grandkids, one of them might run with it and try it.
Yeah, it's working for you.
Yeah.
Keep doing what you're doing. All right, last question is very controversial. Biscuits, syrup, or jelly?
Wow. You can use a jam. Jelly.
Okay.
You can use a jam. Because I make biscuits.
Okay.
But I make biscuits in gravy.
You do. That's a rarity. And you got to get here early. That and the cinnamon rolls. Don't pull up here like 2 hours later. You waste your time.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. He's like biscuits, jam, syrup. He's like, no, gravy.
Gravy.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'll take that. Well, thank you so much for this. Tell people, as if they don't know, but if you wanted a non-14 million, tell people where they can find out more about Gregory's Gourmet Desserts.
You can go to our website at gregorysgourmetdesserts.com. At gregorysgourmetdesserts.com or Instagram at Gregory's Gourmet Desserts. Or just come by, come by to Oakland, the Oakland location at 285 23rd Street in Oakland.
Come by. I'm so glad to be living in Oakland because I could just on any of those 6 days. This has been amazing. Thank you so much for talking with me.
Thank you.
Thanks for being my first bonus episode of season 6.
Right. I'm looking
Yes.
forward to listening to it.
Absolutely. I'll make sure I post all of your information in the show notes. And if you all want to keep up with me in between episodes, you can find me at kayinthebay.com or on Instagram at heykayinthebay. If you've enjoyed this episode of the podcast, make sure to leave us a 5-star rating, share it, and I will see y'all on Tuesday with our regularly scheduled episode. Peace.
Bye.